battle that you didn't hear me or that you weren't paying attention?
I did everything. I just wasn't aware. I wasn't aware of the seriousness of the moment. I know the action took place. I know they were check, but I know they were like check.
Okay, let's go ahead and start today's episode of Escaping Podcast.
The best podcast in Colorado Springs when it comes to all things geek, nerdy, and everything in between, baby.
And by everything in between, he means the distance between the floor and the top of the mech. It could be nothing, it could be a few feet, or if you're lucky, it's at least one skyscrapers. These get messier and messier each week.
Yeah.
I know. How's it going, everyone? I am your host, Daniel Rojas, joined as always by...
Kills for show, a.k.a. and I'll form the head.
I hate you.
Join the K Club.
The clan?
Nah, the cool club.
Anyway, sitting across the table from us, as often as she would like to.
Michelle with no intro.
Still an intro. So today we're talking about giant mechs, kaiju, and the big battles that take place in these events.
Big ass robots, big ass monsters.
So my first question are, who are some of your favorites?
I guess I can start off with the OG original Godzilla, if we're gonna do it like that.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody's like pseudo favorite, just like your favorite Power Racer is always gonna be Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
I will say,
Well,
yeah.
Godzilla set up for a generation of great films and inspired other cultures. Like,
Exactly.
But did Godzilla come first or did King Kong come first?
Godzilla.
Yeah, he debuted in 1954. He was the first kaiju. Started the whole subgenre of kaiju, which basically means strange beast, roughly translated.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was the godfather of that. Came out of the atomic age. After everything.
He's the king of monsters.
Exactly, for
he
a
was
reason.
what was it? He was a certain type of kaiju, because in the other kaijus they mention are like the sea monsters and the other aliens.
But he was back then. He was the first. So after that, that's when they start classifying them differently.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and that's the thing. He is of this Earth.
Yeah.
yes,
This is his planet,
Yes.
which is why when the other kaiju come from outer space, he is very territorial.
Yeah.
and that makes sense. All the sense in the world, especially
Yeah.
with King.
You come into
Ghidorah.
my house.
Yeah.
You shit on my floor. You date my daughter? In that order? No. No.
So your daughter totally dated
Dak
whatever
Shepard.
That Shep. I don't even want to talk about him, bro. I'm still mad he married to my wife, yo. Fuck that noise, he ain't even watch Veronica Mars. But yes, Godzilla's the king, and then my second favorite would be a Gamora, which is basically a giant turtle-like kaiju, which often he's depicted as the hero in his own films. He's like the second most popular one over there in Japan. And he's mostly seen as the antagonist in most of his movies, but also like the Hulk, he just wants to be left alone. So you usually get in conflict with him once you go looking for it. Because normally Godzilla is minding his own business, eating whales or whatever he do in the
He's
bottom of
just
the
out there
ocean.
living his best damn life.
That's
Exactly.
kind of like King Kong too. Just wants to be left alone. But
Absolutely.
humans just have a different agenda, as usual.
It makes me think of the whole Medusa thing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Why are there all these dead bodies? Well, why do you keep coming to where these things are?
Exactly. And King Kong's like, I couldn't snatch a white woman if you did not bring a white woman to me. Leave me alone on my island. I wouldn't have to climb atop this building and fuck up your planes if you just left me the fuck alone to my own devices and bananas.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do is be a monkey.
We've got these monsters, these kaiju. I wouldn't even call them monsters because kaiju is a better term.
Yes.
But of course, people do see them as monsters. They see them as huge beasts. And what do they do to combat these beasts? What do they use?
Well,
Giant fucking mechs.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mechs.
Sometimes they'll pit the kaiju against each other.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Which is so manipulative.
Exactly. Don't set this shit up.
Yeah,
Which I
exactly.
say in like Pacific Rim,
Exactly.
which is the most recent one, but that was heavily influenced by Japanese anime.
Yes.
Exactly.
And so you still have the co-pilots of they're running these machines.
They've got to be compatible.
Yeah. And Pacific Rim still takes the influence of the pilots to having that psychic connection.
That neural link.
Yeah. So.
I forgot what they called it. It wasn't The Bridge, but it was something. Like, I own both of those movies. I love them. They're not the greatest cinematic
Was it drifting
pieces
or was
of art.
drifting the
No, you're right.
driving or.
I think it was drifting.
Yes, it was.
It was drifting.
Yeah, so we don't know. It was drifting.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then that's how they had to link up.
Yeah.
Now, the first one I thought was amazing. And
Yes.
I know you're saying they're not that huge cinematic. You know.
They're not a masterpiece. You're not going to teach that in film school or anything like that. But that's not
for
what they
what
were
it
made
is,
for. Yes.
it's such a fun ride.
Yeah.
And okay, you can put Ron Perlman and Charlie Day in anything, and I'll watch it.
Yes.
Oh my god,
It was awesome. And it also made me think, like, why haven't they done this sooner? Like, we watch these movies. We're a generation. We grew up watching these animes, reading manga. We watch Power Rangers. It's not a foreign concept. It's action. Do it well, whether it's big-ass robots fighting or little robots and small soldiers fighting.
Small soldiers is a very different thing.
Exactly. It is a different thing. But scale-wise, there's some wild shit happening, and we'll watch it.
Soldiers, we are the kaiju.
Exactly. Just make it entertaining. And for me, they did that. They gave the characters their own personalities. Yes, some were bland and cliche, but it's not about that. It's about the spectacle. It's about giant robots fighting giant monsters.
Yeah.
And it worked when it came to that. That's what I like more about the second Godzilla movie. Well, the second American incarnation to that series, not counting the 1998 Matthew Broderick one, because we don't speak about that.
We don't really talk
Are you
about
talking
that
about
one.
King of Monsters, the most recent?
Yeah,
Godzilla?
the most recent, yes.
That one I really love.
Because they
Oh,
focus
yes.
on the actual monsters themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what we go to see Godzilla for, the monsters, not the human interactions.
Yeah.
And they did too much with that
Yes.
shit in the first one, and also focus more on the humans and making Godzilla as mystery. Like, no, motherfucker, we want to see the big-ass lizard. Don't hide them behind a building
Yeah.
and have them in the water. Like, no, fight, fuck shit up.
I think the last Godzilla, I like the storyline when she was talking about how maybe these, as she referred to them as the Titans, were waking up because humans, destroyed their own Earth. So
Meddling.
let them come and clean house.
They're
pretty
the
much.
antibodies.
Yeah.
Yes. One of your favorite kaijus was in that film.
Mothra.
Mothra.
Yeah.
Mothra!
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Tell us about Mothra.
Yeah. Please get into Mothra real quick.
Get into it. Well, in West Philadelphia,
Born and raised.
on
On the playground is where Mothra
Mothra
spent most of her days.
I don't know how we want to approach it with King Kong or... Because Mothra was introduced in 60s as one of the first films, roll-off films from Godzilla.
Yes.
As people know, is like a giant moth.
Hold
Which
on,
shouldn't,
Mothra is
which
a
shouldn't
moth.
be very intimidating, except for the video you watch of the guy that just eats the moths all
Okay,
day.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't want to think about him anymore.
Well, you're going to think about him now because we're talking about a moth.
I know.
But I can't really remember the basis of the 60s films,
They were all kind of
All over the place.
all over. Exactly, they
Yeah.
were a shared universe, and that was cool. But most of those movies of that time were very much, here's the kaiju, here's the situation, and for whatever fucking reason, here's the small kid who's gonna have some kind of psychic link and love for the kaiju.
Yeah.
And with Martha was two little Asian girls.
Yes.
They were like not necessarily her protectors, but like her ambassadors, like
Yeah,
emissaries.
there's,
and they were psychically linked together with her. It's like every time there's a set of the little twins born, that's when Martha will appear and they communicate with Martha and Tanner.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things I did like about King of Monsters. It did pay homage to that, and then when you find out
Because with
that,
what's her name? Is it 11? What's her real
Millie
name?
Bobby Brown.
Yeah. Millie Bobby Brown.
yeah,
Yeah.
that girl that Drake was trying to groom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Allegedly.
But you kind of see it, and I think towards the beginning of the film, I think when she went to, and when Mothra was kind of, they
Yeah.
were like, do we leave
it's
or
that
destroy it, or
connection.
yeah,
Yes.
and then she goes up and
And then
found
when
it.
why can I not remember his name? But when he goes into the area where Godzilla is, under the sea, and you realize that he knew Godzilla from when he was a boy.
Yeah,
The Asian dude.
yeah.
Like I know his name too, so I can't believe we both spaced it.
I know, but that's the same thing where she has a connection with Mothra, and you realize he had that connection with Godzilla, and he knew him and got to like put his hand on his snout, very How to Train Your Dragon or
Goodbye, my friend.
Yeah, you're like, oh my god.
Goodbye, Godzilla. But it was just like, yo, how was you able to survive in that immense heat underneath the ocean like that, bro? You should be.
How did he say goodbye? in
Yeah.
Japanese?
Can I hear that again?
Goodbye, Godzilla. And that's not me being racist. That's
that's
literally
pretty
like,
close. I think that's how he said it. Yeah.
well, let them fight. And then he fought.
You know, and it was a better movie than the Bryan Cranston one.
Yes. Wasted talent with
Arguably.
Bryan Cranston.
I don't even think I remember the Bryan Cranston.
wasn't
I remember
much-
watching
Because
it,
it was
but,
very forgettable. And like you were saying before, don't hide Godzilla until the very end.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about these people.
Exactly. It's called Godzilla. That's like going to see Showgirls, and you don't show me no girls.
Yeah, TBS version. Showgirls on TBS.
Yes.
kind of, they were cheesier then, didn't get the stories right. I do like the classic, like, the film posters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
even
those
with,
were
like,
those were the
Mothra, and you
best.
see people running. Godzilla, and it's just people running in the city. Like,
So what sets Mothra aside for you as, like, top tier?
I don't know if Mothra would be my top tier. It's just one that I think is memorable out of the kaijus for me.
Because it was the only girl one. Is that
It's
what?
not.
Girl power.
It's actually not the only girl one.
Plus, I love moths. A lot of people hate moths, and they think they're disgusting. I actually think they're one
They're
of the most
hobo
beautiful.
butterflies.
I'm trying to remember
You were
Mothra's
thirsty enough.
powers. And I can't remember if it was just the fire beam, but I thought Mothra had other powers.
It's one of those things where it changes.
Yeah, I know she could create like strong gusts of wind with her wings and shit because
yeah.
she's big as fuck. But I don't know. Maybe she has like a laser beam from her antennae or something.
She does have the fire beam.
Or fire is a common theme with those monsters.
Yes,
Like,
it is.
Yeah, like Amira has a fire breath too.
And then the sides with the humans on many occasions. Unlike
Yo, I love how Rodan was like,
What's the
yo,
one? The three-headed
fuck y'all,
one that's
I'm
like-
with
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah right now.
Ghidorah's a piece of shit.
yeah.
But Rodan was like, nah, he with my ass. I'm with him.
Well, and
Ape.
Ghidorah's a piece of
Alpha
shit
status.
in the same way that in the wrestling world you have heroes and villains.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta
And you
hate
got your
him.
bad boys that you love to hate. Ghidorah is that of the kaiju universe.
Yeah.
And then you've got the whole series of movies that started there and led to where we are now. And there are some crazy installations in that series.
Yes,
Destroy All Monsters.
that one
I've
was
seen
good.
that one.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. And another one of my favorite Godzilla movies was the one where he was melting down and he was about to go not Omega, but what's the term? When a reactor hits critical mass.
He's going nuclear.
Yeah, yes, duh, of course. Yeah, he was going to go nuclear. And he's just glowing redder and redder, and you're just seeing the cracks. And then at the end of the movie, after he defeats Were Monster, he literally just starts melting. And it's fucking crazy. It's like, oh, shit. Right.
Does
How you gonna make another
Ghidorah
one?
have his own film?
Who?
Ghidorah?
Ghidorah did have some
A standalone?
of their own. And it's always bad.
Yeah.
Destroy All Monsters came out in 1968.
Oh, then I was
Oh,
totally
so that's
wrong.
kind of the same time Mothra came out.
Yeah,
Okay.
and one of the best things about it was this was right after they established all the major kaiju, and then you've got all these
gotcha.
you've got these actors in these big floppy suits just.
Yeah.
That's why Gamera
Oh, it's
came
my
in because he was a
favorite.
turtle, but
Yes.
he could spin around in the air, and that's what they had tag team moves and matches. I remember that shit.
It's like
now.
the turtle in Kung Fu Panda.
yeah.
Yes. In 1964 was when Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, came out, and while it was called Ghidorah, Godzilla was still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Godzilla comes out and is like, "Heard you were talking shit."
You kind of see Godzilla make an appearance in all films. Like, even in Skull Island,
Yes.
at the end when they were going through it and then you hear his roar, like, you knew
yes.
that it was Godzilla was coming.
And that was so dope about that movie too, because they were like, all right, we're gonna get to Kong versus Godzilla one day, so let us learn from DC's mistakes and from Marvel's success. We're gonna backdoor this King Kong as a prequel to the universe, but at the same time plant the seeds for the future. That's why at the end of the latest Godzilla King of All Monsters, they basically, like, throughout that whole movie, there's basically Iron Man 2 in that shit. Like,
Right.
if you didn't know, Kong's here too. If you didn't know, there's other monsters. Hey, make sure you watch these credits just in case. Here's a cave drawing. Here's some more articles.
Yeah.
Here's this. At the very end, a big monkey and a big lizard, and they gonna do it.
And it kind of makes you think, what is their rivalry going to be? Because, Kong in the film, ended up protecting the humans from the Skullcrawler, and then the humans in turn helped him because he was almost defeated.
Yeah.
And then Godzilla helps humans. So it's like, what is their beef going to be?
I think the beef there is literally the beating of the chest.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest?
Who's the biggest alpha?
baddest?
Who's that apex
You think
predator
they love
slash
you?
protector?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got all these followers. I got my own cave paintings Oh, you Godzilla? That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Somebody
I got
has
your island. I got the New Yorker.
somebody has to be the top of the food chain, and it's been going on between a Godzilla or a Kong, because we don't know if this Godzilla is the one and only, but they always destined to come back through nature's own devices to battle for whatever reason.
Recurring, what's the term? It's like the Franklin Richards Galactus thing. They're forces of nature that must exist as long as the other one does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But one thing. Oh, hold on.
And maybe it's just a check and balance thing too.
Exactly.
Because what if one is too strong? You gotta have a counter for.
Yeah.
Well, and I know that I'm gonna be going back to watch the 1962 King Kong versus Godzilla.
That shit's so trash.
It's not good at all,
hate
and
that
I think that's what's gonna make it so good. You know?
He's so disappointed that anything is good.
Yes.
King Kong in that dirty ass ape suit.
It's just one of those things. Like these old movies, there's such a love that I have for them because I grew up watching these. I know that same as y'all.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it's cheesy. Yeah, it's bad. But seeing those dudes in those suits and the tiny little villages, and like you can see where one of the heads kind of sways a little too much.
For real. And don't quote me on this, but isn't there like two versions of the film, or is there two different versions? Because I know one, like for the Japanese audience, Godzilla wins, but then I think there's an Americanized one where Kong comes out on top just for purposes,
Oh, I didn't know that there was two different.
I think so.
I didn't think there was, but
if you want to double check,
let me go ahead and look at that real quick. Godzilla.
Because no way Kong beats Godzilla back in those days. It was no point.
Yeah.
Because that's when they gave him the ability to absorb electricity and shit, so he got all super juice, so he had ready to fight. But, like, no, you be barbecue gorilla.
No stopping him now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Ain't no stopping him now. And apparently we are supposed to be getting Godzilla versus Kong this year.
I thought it got pushed back.
It still has a release date of 2020.
Maybe it's for the good overseas countries that knew how to stick their asses in the crib and then spread COVID.
Knew that.
So now they get to go out and play where we just in
We're
America.
We're never going to get to that point with our attitudes.
No, we are not.
American Squidward and shit looking out the window at like Japan.
America, wear your damn mask.
Wear your damn.
And just stay home if you don't need to be
out.
It's
not political. It's just smart.
It is, yeah.
Quote unquote.
That's our plug-in for our health.
Yeah. Yes. So there was Monster Island and there was the 1962 Godzilla or King Kong versus Godzilla, but other than that, I'm not seeing anything about another one. Those movies.
Word. And I could have been mistaken with.
Right. But I could also see how you would want to appease both.
Yeah, so that's why I say I thought there was like a cut or like there was two different endings for both audiences, so they could root for their hero.
Right.
Instead of being like at the end of Freddy versus Jason, we had Jason come out the water, but then Freddy like wink.
I thought you were about to say at the end of Frasier. You know, when Frasier and Niles were just fighting to the death, and
Niles was too soft.
Niles wanted you to think he was soft. That's the Hawkeye approach. The comic book Hawkeye, not the movie. The movie Hawkeye is trash. Comic book Hawkeye wants everyone to think he's dumb, so that way he can
trash and litter, same thing.
Wow. So where's the change where that we have the set kaiju, we have the mechs. Where do we see that other than Pacific Rim in our own Western culture? Yeah, you know. Well, were there other ones that we have made that are now, you know, the same way the kaiju were essential for Japanese folk?
Yeah.
Well, we don't necessarily have as big of a following in American cinema for the giant monsters and robots. We have
Which is a shame.
Yeah. Exactly. We have it sprinkled out here and there. Like, for a giant monster, I could go back as further as, like, the Blob. That could have been the closest thing we had to, like, a giant monster. Then we had They, which was giant ants. Attack of the Killer Rabbits, which was about giant rabbits that ate people for whatever reason. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. But, like all those movies came out, like, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Then that shit like died out. I don't know if you want to count Ghostbusters and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily want to count that. But then moving forward, we have Cloverfield, which try to rekindle that interest because it was about a giant monster attacking New York City. And people didn't know what that movie was going to be about. That's what was so ingenious about the marketing. Because some people thought it was like, oh, it's a new Godzilla. No, it was Voltron. No, it's actually Power Rangers. It's a giant monster. It can't be anything original. It was something original.
It was something original.
And it was
that
different.
movie was a little hard for me to watch, but those films are just because it's somebody running around.
Cam,
that was a whole genre that I'm very glad is gone.
Yeah.
Not me. Like, some of those movies were fantastic. I'm going to just name out a couple real quick.
Go for it.
Cloverfield, Chronicles is the best one, and
Chronicles was great.
The Last Exorcism was fantastic. Well, I won't say fantastic. It was good. I really liked that. It was when the preacher's like, yo, all this exorcism shit is fake. Then it turned real. They're like, oh, shit, baby. And the last one I would mention is Paranormal Activity, the Mark ones. It was the Mexican one.
What was that action film that they did where it was his point of view?
Oh shit!
Like Henry or
it was Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore. I heard that was dope too.
It was really good. Now, there were some moments where it's gonna make you a little motion sick.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it.
But with any genre that's getting any type of traction, there's gonna be a lot of copycats and a lot of shit done well. I think that should come back in a sense, but that's a whole nother podcast.
So some of the ones that I think, and there is a list here about our American kaiju.
Yeah.
Tremors. Gotta look at Tremors.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that with Kevin Bacon.
With Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
That's our kaiju right there.
Yeah.
It's one of the a desert kaiju.
Get off the ground.
Get off the ground. Then there's Colossal with Anne Hathaway.
That was great.
Oh,
I forgot about that. I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
Wasn't
That was cool.
That came out of nowhere.
It was a cool little
She
indie movie.
psychically linked, and that's how they were controlling one another.
Which again goes to that there's a
Toxic
person who is connected to the kaiju.
Toxic ass relationship. That was so toxic. I forgot all about it.
I remember when she was in the playground and she was like reenacting the whole thing.
Oh my god.
That shit was dope. How could I forget?
There's another one that I think I thought you were gonna bring up.
But long story short, Tremors used to give me nightmares as a child.
Was this Arachnid? No, I'm just kidding.
No. And not Alien Freaks, although we could count those.
Yeah.
Rampage.
See, where
was the video game?
Yeah, I was more
the video game was influenced by these giant monsters.
But you're absolutely correct.
But then they're all like they've got like these American names and they're all people who were irradiated.
No, you're right.
These creatures.
Yeah. Was it Western though, or was it originally a Japanese?
It was influenced by.
Oh, okay, but it was American.
Made, yes.
Okay.
And Rampage is easily top 3 best video game movies of all time.
Yeah, because it knows what it is.
Yes. Yeah. And The Rock and Negan's in it.
Yeah. And it didn't try too hard.
It didn't have to. It wasn't Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Trying to be.
Oh god, they need to redo that
serious
again.
movie.
Yeah.
Man, that hurt my feelings. I'm like, damn, Magneto.
I know.
And it had so much potential.
I fell asleep 2 times. I tried watching it. Thank God I red boxed that hole. I turned it in. I'm like, I ain't gonna want another dollar.
They'll try again.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break here, and same as last week, we have a little promo for you about a new show coming to our network. How's it going, guys? This is Daniel.
And Kelsey Show, a.k.a. Kelsey Greer. And today we're going to give you a little introduction to a new show that's coming to our network.
Our network is growing, and we're really excited about what's happening. But instead of us telling you about the show, we figured we'd let the hosts of it bring you in on what's coming up. Guys?
All right. Hey, guys. We are 3 guys, 10 eyes. Just 3 guys. 2 of us wear glasses. Simple math.
Yeah. We just are going over simple entertainment topics, pop culture, sports, music, interviews, and stuff like that as well for the local scene.
Yeah, we're just going to try to bring up the community. If you have anything that you're starting up, your career, we'd like to have you on the show. Just hit us up. We have Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yeah, all of those at 3 guys, 10 eyes.
Word. And do you want to give us your names individually, or is this one collective?
Is this an anonymous thing, or are you all 3 attached like a Cerberus?
Well, we are all 3 attached at the hip.
It's kind of it's
kind of like
disgusting to look
Siamese
at, I have to
twins.
say.
Them hips don't lie, though.
Well, it's actually more hips than could lie.
Unfortunately, we have very small hips, so we're just literally...
Like an Instagram model.
I go by Young Pyramid. I also make music, so check me out on that.
What type of music you make?
I make hip-hop and like alternative
You
hip-hop.
play live instruments, or is it just like...
No, it's all like
He is the
beats,
instrument.
and then I make my own lyrics and I rap.
Yo, we might have to talk, bro. We might have to talk.
I've heard.
No, we will talk.
So when can we expect to hear from you guys next?
We are posting every Tuesday. We go live right now on Facebook. That'll be going on every Sunday and probably for another 3 weeks. And that's on my Facebook, Derek Shreve. You want to go?
We have his name now. Okay, you wrote that down?
Yep.
Great.
My social is 666. So hit me up.
Yeah.
Dude, we just lost our whole Christian following. Right?
No. On this network, I think you just built some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't believe in God while believing in the beast, baby.
Cool. And then, I'm Ultimate Dusty. I just do gardening and gaming.
Word.
Yeah.
What type of gardening?
All kinds, man. We got pumpkins growing, watermelon growing,
'Cause I've been trying
squashes
to grow
coming
some collard greens. My garden's been fucking up lately, but then again, I haven't put too much attention to it.
Okay, yeah, we haven't tried no collard greens, but we got kale and lettuce and all that good stuff coming in. Just today we harvested some cucumbers and tomatoes.
Hey, yo, you grow some tomatoes, give them to me when they're green. I'm frying them some bitches up.
You
Same
can
way we
probably
with
do that
people.
with the abusive husband.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's
always.
And you?
I'm Christian. I don't rap or garden. I just work at a grocery store.
Damn, yes. You are
My
the
man.
working man, the everyday
Essential.
person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Too essential sometimes, but that's all right.
Too central?
So we're looking forward to having you guys on the network, and I know that you listening out there right now, I can't tell you how exciting this is, how fucking wet you should be getting.
Don't do that.
I did.
I'm dripping. myself.
I'm honestly a little scared.
You got a mop around
Should
here?
be.
Yeah, no.
A healthy dose of fear will always keep you alive. Batman taught me
It's
that.
kind of just one of the rules of the network. You come in here, we all get naked, we record it, and it's good to be a little afraid. So
Saves you on AC costs too.
the fact that we are in a basement and it's cooler does not help the fact that I'm still sweating. We have them coming onto the network starting next month. Be ready because it's going to get crazy. Guys, thanks for being here, and let's get back to the show.
Exactly.
Sick.
All right, we're back. So my next question is, with what we've seen with the established kaiju and mechs, what would you want to see in the future? Especially with, I guess, as much as I don't want to say American-made,
Yeah.
but even just around the world, and what type of new kaiju do you want? What do you want for the established ones? And what kind of new mechs do you want to see?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I appreciate it. You know, a lot of people said that with Pacific Rim, some of the mechs looked, kind of lame. It wasn't as, colorful or as animated as they could have been. Del Toro said that was intentional. He said he wasn't trying to make it like a car or, how they, stylized car robot. And I appreciate that. I'm not sure what I want out of mechs. I think, I do want to see a more unique take on the kaiju, something that hasn't been done. We've recreated a lot of the kaiju that's always been out there, mainly because a lot of the Western audience, that's what they're familiar with now.
Very familiar with it now, yeah.
But as something unique, I don't know. Maybe not derived from the sea, from the extraterrestrial, or maybe from the earth, like come from under the ground, like the core of the earth or something like that.
A molten man.
Yeah.
Stir. Well, for me, I would like to see actually a continuation of Symbiotic Titan. It's an anime show brought to us.
So underrated.
By the creator of Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack.
Gendy Tartakovsky.
Exactly.
Tartakovsky.
I could never say his name, so that's why I lay it up for you. Or I should say, I tossed the alley-oop to you.
Yes, you did.
So you could do that for me. Because that show was fantastic. It was mature, and it was a different take on that kaiju, giant robot genre for American audiences.
What made it different?
The fact that it was like American based, but also the humanoids were actually aliens, and they combined with their technology to create the giant robot, and they had to fight giant alien monsters that came to capture one of the people because she was a princess from this alien planet. And
Was
it's
that kind of like Mazinger Z, where they were humanoids?
A bit, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit,
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
something
Okay.
like yeah.
One of the things that I did like was, even though it only lasted for one season,
Yes.
there was character development.
Exactly.
Because Gendy Tartakovsky knows how to do that.
Yeah.
And there's
Exactly.
one of the characters, the cheerleader character, who is very petty, pretentious.
Oh, and she gives us our first animated twerk sequence.
Yeah, yes, she
ever.
did.
And it's a classic. Like, I put it up on my Snapchat before. It's one of my favorite episodes. As a Depeche Mode song on it. It incorporates that 80s nostalgia feel that they was looking for in that episode, and it's one of the best animated episodes of a cartoon ever, in my opinion.
There's a whole thing there where, she starts off as the worst, as that typical character who thinks the whole universe revolves around her.
And she's a ginger.
Yeah. Well, but then she is humanized. You see that she's the way that she is because of certain things in her life and choices that
Societal
she's making to protect
pressures.
herself.
So basically, the episode is about the cheerleader having to get tutored by the lovable big guy in the crew. Like Michelle just said, he's Baymax-ish, but it was even funny because he's actually a robot in disguise, but not transforming. He's the symbiotic part of the Titan. So him and the other two characters merge together to create the giant robot.
Yes.
And he's a big dork. He's a robot, so he's not worried about.
Well, and that's the thing. He
liking
is
girls.
a robot.
Yeah.
What was his name?
I can't
Octus?
It's something like that,
Yeah.
but she didn't know, so she's trying to distract them. Let's play some music. Let me dance. I don't like learning stupid. And he's like, no, you're actually smart. And he helps her with her work, and then they low key just in that interaction amongst themselves, they evolve a connection, and then they like kiss and all this shit. Then there's a literal spark between them.
Oh, and it's fantastic.
And then at the next day at school, like they holding hands, and everybody's like, the fuck?
You with him?
No way!
And it's also one of those moments where
It must be the shoes.
he's no longer just serving. He's no longer just there for their protection as their guard. He's kind of understanding humanity.
Yeah.
And it's really good because, again, it's a continuation of that would be fantastic.
Exactly, that too. And I would definitely like to see like different ways to bring kaijus into the American consciousness outside of just like geek culture. Because there's no reason why we shouldn't be having more of those movies. Because Hollywood already ran out every fucking idea.
Yeah.
Now they want to turn every comic book into a movie. Like you still could create your own IPs with existing subgenres.
Yeah.
And even like even though this isn't original, we already had Power Rangers, and it had a lukewarm reception, like box office wise. And with that being said, they're trying again to get it going again because it has its core fan base. It has potential. It works for a reason. It's still on TV today. Power Rangers, that is.
New generations will appreciate films for them. We've had our films in the past. Yeah.
Exactly. And with that being said, Voltron. That should be a live action movie franchise. It has all the groundwork already done. You just not based it on the original. Well, it's not even the original. The most famous version is the Lion version of the show. But before that, there was one where Voltron was just all cars that came out like a year before the Lion's debut. But if you just go off the Netflix mythology and rework it for a Hollywood trilogy, not even trilogy, just saga movies, it could be the Star Wars of this generation. It has space, it has giant monsters, it has flying lion vehicles that combine into one big ass robot. The characters are there, their story arcs are cemented well, and if you have the foresight to know where you're going to end up with, you can start it.
Why do you feel that Hollywood hasn't done it, though? I mean, it's been out for ages.
I think they're just scared. They're scared of putting money into something they don't think they could.
I mean, we saw the success of Transformers, though. I mean, why not make Voltron and have the success of Voltron? Or do you think fan bases can't? I mean, they're not stupid. They can differentiate between them, but
I would say you'd have to wait a little bit because of, yes, the success, but also the backlash of the Transformers movies.
See,
Okay.
but to go to Michelle's point, that's where Voltron wouldn't have that issue. The issue mainly with the Transformers was the movies weren't good movies. They were action porn. And the reason we come to see Transformers is to see robots, but most of the robots don't look like the robots we grew up with or look like robots
And they
at
did
all.
try at one point.
Yeah.
which
but
is
then
that's Michael Bay's style. It's
Yeah.
just action porn.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But with Voltron, you already have the lines, you have the color, you have the design, so there'll be no confusion about that.
But we can't talk about Transformers and Voltron without talking about the amazing Netflix series that they put out for Voltron.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, if they
Yeah.
base the movies off of that, and I said this before, I will always say that that Voltron series is the greatest rebooted animated property of all time. It's easily better than its original source material, and I can't name two other animated franchise off the top of the head that I can say is better than the original.
Well, and that's one of those things, you know, because many of these older shows that have that same base, that have that same influence, have tried to come back multiple times.
I'll take that back. A pup named Scooby-Doo is better than the original Scooby-Doo series.
I'll give you that. No, I'll give you that. And you know what? Even what was it, Flintstone Kids or whatever?
Oh, the Flintstone Kids.
That shit rocked.
Yeah.
Muppet Babies, amazing.
Oh yeah, Muppet Babies.
But that was a whole different time where that was all happening.
Yeah.
Kind of like how in the early to mid '90s we had all those movies based off of old TV shows showing the behind the scenes and what happened.
Oh, you talking about like the Brady Bunch and a very Brady sequel?
No. I'm talking about the ones where it was like the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Where they did that for Bewitched, for Brady Bunch, and for the Partridge Family and the Monkees.
I think there has to be a hesitation too with taking an anime show and making it into a film. I mean, we've seen the downfall of Death Note coming out as a film, and it's like, was it entertaining? Yes. If you were a Death Note fan, was it great? Fuck no.
Exactly.
And then you have Bleach, which I don't think Bleach was bad as a live action film. It wasn't the
as
greatest.
bad as the others.
Yeah.
Because the others basically came into my house, shit on my floor, and started dating my daughter.
Just like Full Metal Alchemist. I'm not totally against it as a live action film. Was it great? No.
No, but was it fun? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, my thing with that, because I know we're going to get back into Kaiju and mechs, but with that, if you're having the homunculi be in your movie, I need them to be as ridiculous as they looked in the anime.
Yeah.
Everyone else can look human, but when I see fucking Gluttony, I need him not to just be a chubby guy. I need him to be salivating all the time. I need him to be...
That gross factor.
Gross factor, exactly. When I see lust, I want my dick to pop out of my pants and go to King Supers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. I get it. So maybe that's like with Voltron. It's like it was a great animated series. Are we hesitant to disappoint fans when we try to make it live action?
And I think that's the case, though. Because we have hit how many Transformer movies and how many fuck-ups in those movies.
Yeah.
There were good ones.
Yes, there were good ones. But people kept going to them because they liked something about it. So it's not Hollywood. Hollywood has no problem making shit if that shit sells.
Yeah.
I just think they don't want to invest all the resources and the proper amount of money that they want. Because if you give the property to Guillermo del Toro or J.J. Abrams, they will put the time and dedication into making sure you get the best product. You get the actors, you get the tech, you get all of that right. And a lot of things with these movies, technology. You couldn't make Pacific Rim in 99.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that. But now the technology is getting better. We're moving forward. And if you know how to structure it, so you don't have to spend all the money on the fights. You can make us care about the characters. So when they finally get into the Lions, they finally form Voltron in Act 3 because they have to figure out how to do it throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
I agree and I disagree very hard on that. Because, first off, yes, Del Toro, amazing. Everything he touches, I love.
His storytelling is phenomenal.
His storytelling, because he's studied how to tell a story.
Exactly.
He also comes from a culture where he understands how important stories are.
Yeah, if you watch his Spanish films, The Orphan, Pan's Labyrinth,
Oh my
all
God.
that storyline behind it, whether it's... And I think he did amazing with Hellboy.
I'm sorry. The Orphan with the little girl?
No,
Okay.
the Spanish version.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're thinking of the one where she was actually...
Yeah.
Don't spoil it for people.
And there's a whole thing, we'll talk about it, off the air. You guys will do this. But Del Toro, yes. J.J. Abrams, well, I do enjoy most of his work. He knows how to start a series, but he can't stick the landing every time.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't trust him with that.
Okay.
And the same way...
It's like Stephen King.
Exactly.
Cannot stick the landing.
You know what, and I'm enjoying the build-up. I'm enjoying what you're doing with the characters. Yeah. And then for some reason, when you get to the third act, it's like you realize your story was nowhere near where you wanted it to be, but you're still going to wrap it up. Yeah. Now, Del Toro, I don't even know how, in the spans of one movie, can make you feel everything.
Yes.
But I think for something like Voltron, while we have it on Netflix, if you're going to go live action, you got to give it to either Amazon or HBO. Yeah. You got to do it as a TV series. Because hour-long episodes...
And a lot of things are moving towards the television because you get a better detailed story and better character build-up.
Oh, no, go ahead.
And kind of like what we were saying last week, one of the things that we did get with the influence from the East is how to tell a better story.
Yeah.
Because we were episodic as fuck for a long time. And I don't even know when the change came. I'd have to go and do some more research on it. But it did come. And people realized, I don't need an hour and a half where all this is crammed in here.
Yeah.
I'll take a whole season.
Yeah.
I will watch weekly again if you make it worth it and you can tell me a story that's going to make me care.
Yeah.
Where I would definitely say I would pick Amazon to produce it over HBO, just because HBO seems to not care as much when it comes to writing sometimes. Because it's like,
Right. Sometimes
here's the
rough.
money, finish our most popular franchise.
However, True Detective was amazing. Westworld, from what I
True Detective first series. Second season, it was a
Did
little
you not
rough.
watch the third season?
Wait, which one was the one with Vince Vaughn?
Season 2, I want to say.
Yeah, that one kind of lost my interest.
You need to keep watching.
Okay.
And same kind of deal. Fargo, which is a different, set each time, but what you do find out, kind of like with True Detective, there are connecting plots.
Yeah.
And I love that. Much like mechs that need to come together to build a great thing, like Voltron or Zords,
Megazord.
our storytelling has been enhanced by what we've learned.
But, you say Amazon should pick it up, and that's what's hard is because Voltron's already on Netflix. How did they,
Yeah,
But,
right.
yeah, I get it. Like, I think Amazon's done a phenomenal job with picking up shows and writing a storyline.
Exactly.
Well, and with Netflix,
I lost faith in them after they gave us
was it Lock and Key?
Lock and Key.
Because
right?
that's
Oh
exactly
my
where I
God.
lost it to.
Lock and Key, and well, I didn't watch the original Death Note series before I watched the movie, but the movie entertained me. I got the gist of it after watching the Death Note series.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, now I get why hardcore fans hate that
Yeah.
version.
Well-
But I'm not gonna hate on it that much. But I get it.
But that's good. And I'm sorry, that's probably the best way you could have done it.
Yeah.
Because as someone, like us,
Yeah.
who watched the anime first,
Yeah.
maybe read the manga first, and you know exactly what kind of chess game you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And then the movie spits in your face, shits on your floor, and starts dating your daughter.
Exactly. It was like, oh, this would be.
I don't know why I keep going back to
I
that
know,
one.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
like,
I'm going to come up with a new one. But this week.
Yeah.
But that did feel like the Americanized version of that story. It was like, oh, we're dumb.
Yeah.
Well, and
You
like-
couldn't keep it as sophisticated and smart as the source material is already there. You had to dumb it down
And
for
that's-
your audience,
that's
and that's
the
why we
problem.
don't like it.
Had
Like,
to incorporate too much of a love story
yeah,
to try to
we
keep an
don't give a
audience
fuck. Every story
attention.
don't need that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Much like, and this is definitely a side rant. I watched Peanut Butter Falcon about a week or two ago. Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit. And the fact that, why can I not remember her name from 50 Shades of Grey?
Dakota Fanning?
Dakota, no,
No.
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson.
She, was
Yeah.
she had one TV show on Sam and Kate or
She
something
did not
like that.
need to be in that movie
Yeah.
because it was a shoehorned love story into this beautiful friendship and genuine love for another human.
Exactly.
Well, that's like Transformers. I didn't feel like
Yes!
there needed to be that love story.
Not at all.
It would have been okay if it was done well. Some romance just feels forced. Like, for example, on New Girl, Nick and Jess. It just felt like somebody in that apartment had to get with Jess.
Right.
We didn't need it.
We didn't
but
need
you
it.
just got her in there. And I was like, that shit was so... We
But
gotta get them together.
With mechs and everything, like, with Transformers, it's like, I would rather have the audience build up and love, like, Optimus Prime and
Exactly.
Bumblebee and, like, the other characters, like... But you lose that when you shove it in, like, with Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox have to have this relationship.
And then Shia
Connect
LaBeouf,
with
and then
that.
the Australian
Fox
girl
too.
after
Yeah.
the whole Megan Fox thing. But that's what I loved about Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Because yes, they had to be connected.
Yes.
But they didn't have to be fucking.
No.
They didn't have to be entangled.
Their attachment was through this bonding because they have to work
A
together.
deeper
to-
connection.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it speaks back to what we've talked about earlier.
Yeah.
How there's the connection to the kaiju that
Exactly.
some of these kids feel, and having that connection with another person and the mech makes them all the whole of a greater. They're a part of a greater whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing, too. Like, if y'all haven't watched the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege on Netflix, do that. Because they incorporate female Transformers in it. And if you're a Transformer fan like me, you already know that a lot of times, depending on the backstory, Optimus Prime and Alita 1 were kind of a thing. In this...
He gave her his hard drive.
Exactly. And in this franchise, or in this series...
SD card.
they allude to it, but without forcing it down your throat. It's not like they're making out, holding hands, like I love you, Prime. I can't live without you. No, it's just subtle things here and there between their dialogue, how they relate to each other, and just things like that you could get across without being so over the head and heavy-handed with it. So when I go back and rewatch the Transformers movies, I'm looking like, damn, no, you can make this about them and make them about the humans too if you just tell the proper story. Like before I was like, no, I don't need them to be sophisticated characters. They're robots. I just need to see them fight. I'm like, no,
But
you
it's
can
like-
do all that if you want to.
Even the death of Optimus Prime on the big screen.
Oh, don't
You
even.
know,
Why, wait, which one?
It's very hard
Which
for
one?
fans when it's like the voiceover is the original from the anime series.
And it hurts.
But when you don't
Oh,
build it
no.
up properly for other fans who just got into watching the movies, like,
See,
yeah,
okay.
it's sad, but it's not like
Yeah.
that heart-wrenching emotion.
Of course.
Where for people who recognize that voice, who grew up watching the Transformers, who connected,
When
like,
you hear it,
Yeah.
and it hurts you.
yeah.
Every time. Before Mufasa, I saw Optimus Prime die in that 1984 movie once I was able to, like,
Watch
understand
it.
what was
Yeah.
happening. I'm like, fuck. Even when because I bought the 35-year anniversary Blu-ray. Even when I watch that shit now, that shit still hurt. When I
Yeah.
saw him die in part 2, that shit still hurt.
Yeah.
And I'll say, and I will stand by this till my fucking dying day. Some things need to hurt.
Yeah.
Some things need
Yes.
to earn hurting you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to shoehorn it in and be like, oh, hey, here's this character, Optimus Prime, that you know. By the way, he just died.
He
Yeah.
should have died.
Isn't that so sad?
Yeah, he should have died in the third one, but that's a whole nother conversation.
So what you were talking about with like the romance and like the whole thing with
Yes.
you know, it really reminds me, and I guess you can kind of no, it's an alien, I guess not, but Super 8.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember
Yeah.
Super 8?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
Kaiju
loved
too.
it. Yeah, it is Kaiju.
And
Yeah.
and the most romance that happened in that movie was they held hands at the very end as everything was happening, and that's all we needed.
Yeah.
We didn't
He
need
likes
it.
her.
Yeah, well, not even that he likes her, but that this is a moment. This is something that neither of them will forget.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of like in Rogue One, where Cassian and Jen, I'm glad that they did not hook up. There wasn't even that like interest, but when they knew that the world was about to explode, there wasn't a kiss, there was just a hug. In that, we did it.
Yeah.
We're here together, and this is a moment.
You know why there was no romance? Because they knew they was all gonna die, so they knew they didn't have to put it in. See, that's a little shit like that. Oh, we
Yes.
don't even need this because it ain't even about this. Let's no.
This is about something bigger. This is about a story that's bigger than these characters.
Every moment in his life isn't about love or romance. It's about getting through the day. And
Right?
sometimes,
This isn't Donnie Darko.
sometimes you don't even get through the day. Shit, I didn't mean for to get that dark, but sometimes
Do it,
you
no,
don't get
do
through
it,
the
do
dark.
it, do it.
Through the, sometimes you don't get through the day. Period.
Yeah.
And sometimes the person that you love the most is the person that you hate for that whole day.
Oh, yeah.
So why am I gonna
Yeah.
sit here and create this illusion like, no, we need a love story? Like, no,
Super
most
8
people
almost
don't have
fucked
love
up.
in their life.
Super 8 hit the rail, but
Yeah.
then course corrected.
Exactly.
Yes,
And it's like,
because with the filming, the kids were making their own movie, and they try to make it way too mushy. For one, they're like 10, and nobody wants
Right.
to give a fuck about their
11 and a
romance life.
half.
but I will say
But
with that,
they went back to
exactly. But also those kids, that's what they thought a movie needed to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Think about that. Kids who grew up in a Spielbergian era.
yeah.
And one
They
thing
thought
too,
this is what it is.
I liked about that was like, it just makes you think about being a kid. Like, some kids like kids
Yeah.
quicker than others, but for the most part, you're just a kid. You trying to have adventure. Liking a girl or a boy or whatever is the last thing on your mind
Yeah.
until you realize.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like this?
I still feel in that
Yeah.
movie there could have been more about the kaiju. Well,
Yeah,
they didn't say kaiju, but
Right.
you
The
know,
monster.
And,
the monster.
and that thing was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, there's a connection between
Yeah.
an innocent child and this creature that's older than what they know time is.
Yeah.
But first, it was the alien connection and a black man.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And
We save everybody.
And that's the thing with all this. It's bigger than the sum of the whole, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's the whole.
yeah.
And you can kind of see that with other shows and other franchises. Gundam, for instance.
Yeah. Gundam, I mean, I don't think people in America realize how huge that industry is. And
Yeah.
it's part of it. It makes $5 billion a year
Which
for
is
Namco.
ridiculous. Give me just
Yeah.
one of those years. I'll take it.
And it was actually this, probably besides Mazinger Z. Is it Mazinger Z or Mazinger Z?
However you'd like
Yeah.
to say it.
Um,
I'll judge you when
those
I'm
were
editing.
like the original, the mechs, the influences for them.
Yes.
So then you get, you know, where Pacific Rim comes from, where Voltron comes from, Transformers, all of
Not
that.
even to mention the connection between the pilot
Yeah.
and the machine.
Hell yeah, because
Yeah.
Gundam debuted in 1979.
Yeah.
So it was like the grandpappy, all that shit. Then we also get like Robotop.
And it's still around. For being
Exactly.
a grandpappy, it keeps
Yeah.
reinventing itself sometimes.
Yeah, because from our generation, we was first introduced to that shit in Gundam Wing on Toonami. And Toonami was the epicenter for a whole generation's love.
We're going to get into that next
for
week as
anime.
well. Yes. Because
So-
Toonami was very defining.
The Big Bang.
Yes.
Yeah.
For a lot of us growing up, Toonami was finding a song that hits every chord that makes you feel something. Toonami was a secret that you and other people knew about and gave you access to a whole different world. And when Gundam came on there, no matter how old you were when you're watching it, you felt excited.
Yeah.
Yes, I was excited until they started talking all that political bullshit. Like, oh my god.
You got to think though, when the mechs came around, Japan's influence, their mindset was this shows our technological ambition.
Yes.
This is
That's
a
kind-
cartoon.
It
I
is.
came to watch robots fight robots, not politics and moon colonies and bullshit and all the reasons why we don't need giant robots. It's like the opposite of Transformers. I would rather take a movie with giant robots fighting with some stupid ass love story than some boring ass political bullshit. And that's the only thing that frustrated me about that. Like,
What's
Gundam
frustrating
was-
now though is that's where all entertainment is going, is political.
Yes.
And it is bullshit.
robots.
Unless it's done correctly, like
X-Men.
X-Men, Steven Universe.
There's an
Shows where it is not necessarily heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Avatar
But
The
you
Last
understand,
Airbender
Avatar The
does
Last
it
Airbender.
perfectly.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh shit, this is
But there
politics.
are some that don't even give a shit to try and hide it.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't you see what we're trying to say?
Like, yes,
Bad
that's why
boy.
I don't want to like it, but I do like it. But it's not for that. That's why
Right,
my
no, exactly.
Yeah, that's
but
why.
it's hugely popular, and I mean, I was telling you guys, in Tokyo they already built the Unicorn Gundam, and then now, as in January, they were going to rebuild the new one that was based off the original model, the RX-78, but it's going to be in Yokohama. And I'm not familiar where that's in Japan, but that's where they're going to build this next one, and it's supposed to be having the moving parts.
Word. That's why my favorite Gundam series, but in the Gundam world, is hated on a lot because it's so basic, is G Gundam. Because it was literally nothing but Street Fighter with Gundam.
That's
and
all that
they
it was,
did
Kelsey.
fight
That's
Gundams
all that it
from
was.
different countries to see who would be the best Gundam fighter. There was some backstory with Devil Gundams and all this
there,
other
though?
shit. There was
Was
but
it
no.
a real backstory?
Sometimes
Was it
you just need a good fight.
Exactly, and
It's
that's
like
why I loved
what
it.
is that cage fighter with the little handmade
Rocket
robots? Yeah.
No,
Real Steel.
No.
No,
No.
Real
Oh,
Steel
you're
with
talking
Hugh
about
Jackman.
the battle bots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
BattleBots.
oh.
It was on what, Spike TV before it was
Yeah.
Spike TV
G4.
TNT.
I thought it was on G-Force.
No. Because this was on TNT when TNT, or no, not TNT. What was Spike before it was Spike? Was it always just Spike?
It was TNN.
Was that it?
It was TNN, then it went to Spike, then it went to like.
And that
some
was
other
one of
shit.
those ones that you would catch at random hours.
Yeah, but that's kind of what it reminds me
That's
of.
exactly what it was, but they were a little more souped up.
Yeah.
Nah, man, y'all better show some respect to G Gun.
Listen,
shining, burning
I
fingers.
respect the
all day.
fuck out of Gundam.
Yeah.
Because again, it was one of the driving forces that defined us as who we
Exactly.
are now.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we're doing this show
Like I said,
is because
I love the robots. I hate the politics, and I mean that in the real world.
I
too.
love the gems,
love
but
robots.
sometimes I hate the diamonds.
You just mad because you old girl that got left behind in the garden.
Don't make me cry. One, yes I am, but two, I want to be amethyst.
You are amethyst.
You know I'm
You
amethyst.
sick?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I am. For more information on that, just go ahead and find me. So, coming to the end of this, there's a lot that can be done. There's a lot that has been done.
What do you feel would be a new, unique kind of
For me,
on things?
I want to see a new, and this might just be because I got done playing Mortal
your
Kombat
butt?
10 and 11. Well, yeah, I'm playing with my butt as we're talking. We're all naked here, and that's fine.
Gotta make sure it works.
I'm still getting through 11, but yeah.
It's a living.
Maybe it's because I just finished Mortal Kombat 10 and 11.
Maybe because it's Maybelline.
I'm gonna knock him right out.
Yeah.
Um,
It's all right. I'll look away.
I want a new generation of kaiju,
Okay.
but I want it to respect what came before it. In the same way, Mortal Kombat 10 starts off with you got your Sonya Blade, You got your Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
You got them saving Jax. You've got Quan Chi. You've got Raiden, and they're all in their prime.
Yeah.
And as that first fight ends, Johnny's there, and his face transforms into who he is now, and he's an old man in his 50s.
Yeah.
And he's talking to his kid, and Jax's kid, and it's a new generation of
Jackie
heroes
and Cassie.
that respects what came before it, but doesn't shy away from making a new story that is enjoyable for everyone, especially those who know the lore. So
Yeah.
with the kaiju, and with me being someone who grew up watching dudes in big floppy suits just punch each other over these
Yeah.
sets, which, God, that is one of my favorite things. Even when we went to Mexico when I was a teenager.
I think
Don't
he's
you-
hinting that he wants to reenact this for Halloween.
Don't
no,
you mean
no, no,
Mexico?
no. This is a spoiler. Halloween, we already have a costume planned.
Oh, am
And
I
you-
Mothra?
No,
Wait,
you'll see it when it happens.
Okay.
are we really gonna do that?
We're gonna do that,
What-
Kelsey.
What we talked about?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, if you
Shit.
didn't tell me, what's my costume?
You'll see.
No, we can't tell them. We'll tell you off mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is going to be a
Okay.
whole thing.
All right.
As someone who grew
Oh,
up
I
watching
regret
that,
this already.
and also as someone who wanted to be one of those guys in the suits, or even just make the tiny little sets that get destroyed, because that's so satisfying.
You just want to squeeze in something tight.
For more information on me squeezing
I'll
into
just loan
something
him my
tight,
clothes.
guys, gals, non-binary friends, and everyone else out there,
And all you
go ahead and hit me up. So I want to see generations. I want to see nests of like these different ones.
They're
I want
babies.
Ghidorah to have a brood
Yeah.
that maybe invades Earth, and then you've got colonies. You've got areas of the Earth where these kaiju have been given sovereign land.
Okay.
This is where they live. Jurassic Park, but without it being for profit. This is where our protectors live.
Okay.
And then the brood of Ghidorah come.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't think Ghidorah gets a protective land, but
No, Ghidorah
Yes.
fucks off back to
Yeah.
Legoland,
Yeah.
and then when he comes back,
I think Mothra would be in like New Zealand.
Mothra. Oh, there's so many, and that's the thing. I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to see a modern age
Yeah.
with their modern protectors, because instead of them being the antibodies that destroy everything,
Yeah.
they found a way to work with it, and people have
Gamora
started.
would be in like Hawaii.
Right, but like kind of like what we talked about in the mythology
Yeah.
series, praying to those old gods and bringing them back.
Yes.
And these different countries having different protectors that are kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
this is who we got.
Checks and balances for the humans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it.
That's what I want.
All real monsters, but they're kaijus.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me. Are we just talking about Pokemon? Hold on. Are we just talking about Pokemon?
I think we might have been.
I think we did get to Pokemon inadvertently.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I would watch it.
Like, I want to...
And then they come out these little orbs,
They come out
right?
these little
Yeah.
orbs.
That the people that protect them or train
These
them,
are already
they keep.
like large and massive, so I think if I throw a ball at them, they might like just fucking kill me.
Word.
Oh, fuck, man.
Probably won't go down well.
You teach me and I'll teach you.
Oh, my
He
heart.
didn't go in the ball, but I'm in his tummy.
Pikachu said, "Fuck that! I'm nobody's slave, you bitch."
All right, so we're here at the end.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it really doesn't matter.
Exactly. Rest in peace, Chester Bennington.
Always and forever.
Maybe take a look into what he was trying to do before he quote-unquote killed himself. Because there's a pedophilia ring in the elite.
Yep.
The
And it's
whole-
all coming out now.
It's all just fucking...
Hillary.
Oh, all of them. Get them all. Get them all. Gotta catch them all. So, we're here at the end. This has been another great week.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this series. And again, this is kind of something that I feel has defined each of us in a different way growing up.
Yeah.
I think we all at one point wanted to be that little kid that felt the connection with the kaiju.
Yeah.
Oh no, I did not.
You and me holding
I did.
hands for Mothra?
No, fuck that
Oh.
shit.
I feel like
I'm
it
a
would
monster.
understand me better than humans do.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts.
He said absolutely. You're fucked up, Michelle. Yes,
No,
absolutely.
no. You do your thing. Like,
Alright, so-
y'all connect to them creatures.
Final thoughts.
I'm trying
Favorite
to
kaiju. Where can the people find you?
Like I said, favorite kaiju would have to be Mothra. Large Monster 2, King Kong has my heart.
Oh my god.
Black Lives Matter.
No!
That could
No,
be-
wait, I'm not saying no to Black. No, wait. Wait.
Rewind.
Say that again.
Black Lives Matter.
Yes, they do.
Thank you.
And you can find me on Instagram as Emily Gideon or Michelle Gideon on Facebook.
Okay, Kels.
Where you can find me, Kels for Show, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, on the podcast, Escaping, and also on Yo Where the Catch Is At. And my favorite kaiju, of course, is none other than Big G himself, Godzilla. And if you're a Godzilla fan, you should definitely check out his 3 Netflix movies.
Oh my God, it's so much better than I thought they were going to be.
Exactly, and they're dope. I still need to rewatch the 3rd one because I keep watching it too late at night and I keep passing out.
Yeah.
You do that, though, with many things.
I know, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of things. I have a whole unfinished list of
If
things.
I had a list for things that I heard that you started watching and then just went nine-nine,
Yeah, it's a real thing. And also, once again, Netflix Voltron series. Watch
So
that
good.
shit if you haven't. Please and thank you. What about you, Daniel?
Okay, so hot take here. I fucking love Ghidorah. I love King Ghidorah. You know why? He's the bad boy of the kaiju, and as much as I do want him to get his ass beat, I want him to destroy everything first.
You'll like anything with 3 heads.
Oh, he's got me there. For more information on me getting 3 heads at once, go ahead and just find me, guys, gals, anyone non-binary, and on the human level, just find me and let's do this.
Hey, Dan, this isn't your Bumble account.
Oh, you want to be a bumble little bee, don't you?
Oh.
You just want to zip zap, buzz and sting. Your little
Are you
stinger.
blushing?
I wouldn't say little stinger, but not anything crazy.
Okay.
Man, I love doing this with you guys. This is always the highlight of my week. That and when people who hear my ad on the podcast go ahead and find me. But
the buried penis.
you can find me on Facebook, Daniel Rojas, Instagram, Blue Morpho, one word, where the O's are zeros. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram under Escaping Podcast. If you or anyone else you know would like to have your music featured on the show, please email us at escaping.podcast@gmail.com. Today, we are nearing the end of Prefab Souls EP, and we're leaving you with Dreamland Cruise. I love this guy. He's my roommate. His name is CJ Hackett, and if you're here in the local Springs music scene, you know just how amazing he is. I love you guys. I hate how sweaty my naked body is against this metal chair. And I want you to remember, you're amazing, and there can only be one chum bucket.
Kelsey, you can go get dressed now.
I'm always dressed to impress and to express myself. And just remember, guys, when being kept at home due to this quarantine has you feeling like you're stuck inside a giant metal mech assault suit, don't forget you could always hit that ejector button and become an escapee. Stay uncanny, y'all.